Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new era here in Simraceway. We've seen some of the best cars encounter our circuits in recent times, but now we're taking the best of the best in this Car of the Year Championship. My name's Liam Jenkins and I'll be talking you through all of the action here at Phoenix International Speedway, and it's a familiar face to start the series, isn't it? Look at the 6XJ4, the, of course, provocateur of the Community Livery Designing Championship, which went so well, and many of the liveries you see designed by our community members. But which community member will triumph here today? It's Jim Wally that starts on pole, who's off to a very slow start. Watch out for Valens Morton as they fly down into that very tight first corner. You want to hold your line and try and avoid getting on the banking if you can. It's been quite a clean start here, everyone being very respectful, giving plenty of space as they go through that opening apex. Now let's take a look at what Doc Green's doing. He's got himself into the lead in the Go Bananas car. So the field starts to spread out just a little. Jim Wally's got other plans here with the compulsory headlights. He's also been attacked and he may have been nudged a bit there by Valens Morton. He comes back on. And there's a couple of cars going wide there through the Mario-style plant pot chicane curbing. You can just see there as well. Big move by, I think that's one of our new drivers, MDR man, who's a bit wide inevitably from it, but down to 70, almost made a lacklustre pass there. It's 12 laps of this relatively short circuit here today, and Doc Green is going to be leading for the first time as they come to the end of lap number 1. Then to our pole sitter is all the way down, fighting currently for P4 and trying to hold off Blackall Sun and attack Arasius back is a lot easier said than done when he's going to try it up the inside of turn 1, but it's such a long-winded corner flowing into turn number 2. I don't think he's going to get the momentum through there. Indeed, he doesn't. Jim Wally now got to watch out because there's a big counter coming from Blackall Sun. Let's see what he's capable of. Can he get to the inside? He's almost done so. Heavy braking, but it may come back to bite him. And he's just taken a bit of a nudge there as well. So Jim Wally's struggling in the middle of these drivers now, down to 6th. And he's trying to cling on as Blackall Sun's able to find a way through. Valens Morton, the ultimate loser there, having come wide, and Jim Wally colliding with those barricades there, and unfortunately loses even more time and momentum. So it's not good news at the moment for Jim Wally, as his progress has been severely dented here. He had the perfect hot lap during the week, got himself to the front of the grid, and now finds himself battling over 6th position. Into turn 1 for the 3rd time, and it's still looking very tense back there, and now even RK98 NL has got a brief look in here. A little bit of contact, but nothing too drastic as RK98 tries to bring himself back around the outside and sneak underneath there as we go in towards that long sweeping corner, and the golf coloured 6XJ4 has just moved up into 6th place. Just had that revoked from him there as Mr. MDR man almost snatched it straight back a corner later, and that was the corner of course where he's already gone to make a pass here and it hasn't quite come to fruition. And now RK98 already over the back of Valens Morton. Going through where turn 4 would be. Valens is looking like he's got some timecode issues there, maybe some network problems. It's not what we like to see here as we rapidly approach the quarter of the way through the race mark. That first corner again, and RK98 with a big slide there, and that's going to cost him a position, is it? Yes it is. MDR man sneaks through and you can't knock him for that one. Some great opportunistic driving there, but just received some details and it was a potential disconnect there for Valens Morton, so not good in the way his championship's going to start. I'm sure he's definitely hoping for a lot more from this championship, and it hasn't quite gone the way he wanted just yet. But back at the front of the field though, let's give you a quick rundown of how things stand in the top 5. It is Doc Green that leads after an impressive start, with WTTNM1 in 2nd, Arasius back, now a member of the NOS team, in 3rd, MDR man freshly promoted up to 4th, with RK98 now rounding out your top 5. Your pole sitter Jim Wally down now behind Kelty G, he's in 7th position. So official confirmation there that Valens Morton has unfortunately retired, so it's our first real retirement from this race. We did have a bit of a problem earlier on. I think GT Clean Racer was our first proper retirement, so that was on lap number 1, but it was so quick into the race I think it kind of got missed there. So 2 retirements so far, GT Clean Racer and Valens Morton, but I think all eyes are going to be focused on what the guys in the midfield are going to be doing, because it's arguably where all the action's going to happen. And RK98 is sniffing P4. He's all over the back of MDR Man, having lost that position a while ago. The two have now been moved up a few spots. Well, various drivers have had dismal starts here. Jim Wally being one of them. A retirement more recently from Valles Morton has gifted these drivers some extra points, which come the end of this championship will be also very vital, I can assure you. It's so important to start a championship in the right way. Get yourself some big points early on and save the easy work for later on. Do the hard work now. And once those points are accumulated, it does take some pressure off. And it may not sound like maybe the difference between 80 and 85 points, but believe me, when you're sat on the grid watching those 4 red lights, knowing the only way you can win a championship is if you finish in a certain position or above, those points will matter then, because they would have made so much difference if you'd have just gone one position higher in the first race of the season. RK98 aware of it, almost sends one up the inside of MDR Man and thinks twice about it. You can't knock him for that. He's drifting round there. Easy to see why this car was nominated as one of the cars of the year. Absolutely gorgeous. It's the Simraceway original from our garages, and it's come out onto the circuit, made its debut in its official first championship earlier on in 2015, and it went down an absolute treat. Some breathtaking racing from start to finish, with one of the most explosive finales in recent memory. The car now returns back again to see what it can be put through its paces here at the Phoenix International Speedway. Now, Arazia's back has been warned because there is a compulsory rule at this circuit where you have to have your headlights on, and the man in third, the NOS driver currently, is not doing that. He's been a little bit risky, isn't he? Now, he may just have his own personal reasons. It could be that he doesn't like driving with the lights, or it could be that maybe there's some sort of technical issue with his wheel or the button. But either way, he has been given a drive-through penalty, so reprimanded there for not following the code of conduct, which of course all the drivers have to abide by here to keep things safe and fair. Without the code of conduct, it would be absolute carnage, and it would go from a prestigious championship to banger racing within about 6 seconds, I reckon. But WTTNN is going to be completely oblivious to the penalty, but very much aware that something's not right with Arazia's back now. Does he go into the pit lane? He slowed the car down, and yeah, the keyboard racer brings it to a halt, 36 miles an hour, and that has definitely put the nail in the coffin for his race here today. That's going to be the best he's going to get, unless there's some major turnarounds in the coming moments. I can't really see a podium position here for Arazia's back. He's all the way down to 9th place now, coming out behind Cool Shen. He's the last runner on the field, and it's a real shame as well. He was running so high up early on. A lot of drivers expected him to perform here today, and he just hasn't quite delivered. It's a silly error to make, but he's still driving without those headlights, so maybe he's completely oblivious as to, you know, why he was given the drive-through in the first place. We'll have to wait and see after the race whether this was a conscious decision or not, but it's definitely an intriguing case. So look at back the field then before we miss any more action. We've got RK98 still attacking MDR Man. He's looking at the inside of the final corner, and he sneaks through, but he may lose the inside line. Slicing and dicing they go, and MDR Man somehow keeps himself in third place. And now, of course, because of the pit stop, the drive-through penalty for Arazia's back, these two battling for a podium, but not anymore. RK98 slams into the side of MDR Man. There may well be a reprimand there. He might have to hand that one back or risk getting a penalty. And now MDR Man gets a bit of turf on the car, and he slid across the corner. He's behind Jim Wally, who's going to be said has recovered incredibly well. Now, obviously, it's helped that other drivers have slipped down the pecking order whilst he's been earning his craft here. But Jim Wally back up to 4th place after an atrocious start. It's been a real shot here, and MDR Man really is struggling. He's gone completely wide there. It's almost like he's just turned around in the car park, realising he forgot his shopping. But either way, MDR Man has got a lot of work to do now. We've got 2 more cars battling a bit further down the order. Arazia's back in Cool Shen. I don't expect that to be a major battle. Arazia should alleviate Cool Shen very quickly indeed. Cool Shen down in 8th position. Arazia's was 3rd. If you're just joining us, he's unfortunately had to suffer a drive-through for not driving with the headlights on, and that's still something he's not doing. So it could well be a technical issue with the button that's assigned to it, but again, if it was working in qualifying or something like that, then it's very hard to believe, isn't it? Arasia's back's got a little bit of explaining to do to the stewards come the end of this one. I think Cool Shen may have some explaining to do as well, because Arasia's back's not going to be happy with this. Of course, Cool does not have to move over. He can defend that position all he wants, and it's a late lunge from Arasia's back, and one that's going to be seen as nothing short of risky, but Arasia's back does get the position. He's obviously in a bit of a hurry. It's easy to understand why. Two more cars now fighting as MDR Man experiences further issues out here in Phoenix. It's Kelsey G that's lining up behind him. Over the start-finish line again they come to start their penultimate endeavour of the Phoenix International Speedway. Kelsey bringing it all the way around the exit of the pit lane there. Now keep an eye here. This is where drivers go into another mode, isn't it? They flick the switch between a racing driver and absolute unrelenting pressure. It's so hard to relate to as well, but sometimes you don't even realise you're doing it. You'll just take a look at the top left corner, you'll see a session best or a personal best from you, and you're like, I didn't post that, that was an awful lap. It's a very bizarre place where these drivers can just be nothing short of 115% focused on exactly what they want, and they're determined to get it. And Kelsey G may just be having a chance here to sniff a top 5. The bone's somewhere in the garden, it's just a case of Kelsey trying to dig it up. Come towards the end of the lap, and it's going to be another lap in charge to that final top 5 spot for MDR Man. But take a look at Doc Green. He's still leading now by about 7 seconds. It's WTTNN in second with RK98. What a result that will be. I don't want to jinx it just yet, but it could well be a driver of the day performance. There is a 10-second penalty coming again for Arasia's back for the same reason we specified before. So Arasia's is having a real torrid time out there today. It's just one of those days where nothing goes right for you. Again, we'll try and find out an explanation as to what's just happened with the headlights a bit later on. But there's no explanation needed for a certain man at the front of the field. I think everybody should go bananas, if you pardon the pun, because the winner of the first round of your Car of the Year Championships is Doc Green, as he goes over the start-finish line in the 6XJ4 here at Phoenix to claim maximum points in the first round of the championship. It's WTTNN who takes a heartfelt second with a nothing short of deserved third place for RK98. What a drive it was by RK. Jim Molly finishes in P4. A good redemption in the end, bearing in mind he was down as low as 8th position. He started on pole and eventually pushed himself back forward, so a good result there. MDR Man holds on against Kelsey to finally take that final top 5 spot. And it's Blackwell's Son in 8th place, 7th, I beg your pardon. 8th place for that man there, Arasia's back, who suffered 2 penalties. And Cool Chent, your final runner with your 2 retirements for this afternoon, being Valles Morton and GT Clean Racer. So 1 race down, 3 more to go. As a 500 to 900 A race grid get ready to step their way onto Phoenix and strut their stuff here. It's going to be a frantic evening of entertainment if this one's anything to go by. From myself, Liam Jenkins, we'll see you very shortly. Hello everybody and welcome back live to a very, very cold Phoenix International Raceway right here. You can see the night is out, the moon is shining, and so are the headlights from the cars. Compulsory headlights are needed for this race, otherwise there will be a penalty. We've seen it before here today, but this is going to be interesting. Bearing in mind, TGR had the best opportunity possible to get themselves a championship win at the climax at Cadwell Park just a week ago. They now enter the 6XJ4 in the Car of the Year Championship as a 1-2. It's TGR and Walker on pole. Away he goes, followed there by his teammate alongside him. Watch out for Master Rocco, trying to immediately segregate the two drivers. He's already done so. We've got a car spinning in the backfield and Moore's off again. And it's the second time in as many races that's happened to TGR D Moore. They just can't seem to get the starts right. There's havoc that's been played down at turn number 2. Supercar involved as well. Antonov, also another driver tangled up. There will be a restart, which means these drivers have got one more shot to try and get this nailed. It's a tricky part of the circuit to negotiate through with a field that crowded. Let's see how they adjust to it for the second time. So it's a second attempt for these drivers then after a pretty unsuccessful first one. As we say, sometimes things like this are just inevitable. It's a very tricky corner to get right. The 500 to 900 Beast Skillquant actually did beautifully well through turn number 1 and 2. It's tricky the way it flows so gracefully into the chicane. It can catch these drivers out, and with cars it's unpredictable as well. And we're on a field, of course, of so many competitive drivers. All of them want to make the very best of the situation. It's a TGR lockout on the front row. They're not the strongest of starters, so we've seen it before. Will we see it again? The lights go out, and again it's asphalt pliage, and Master Rocco, they're going to immediately get the gain on the two TGR boys at the front of the field. A storm of headlights flow down into that very long left-hander. And it's still M. Walker that leads, and again TGR D Moore drops down. This time it's only third though. Master Rocco is able to overtake him. A much better start from the drivers. There you can see there was a much bigger sense of spatial awareness that time round, and it definitely came into play there. Everybody just watching their track limits, and just as I've said that, I think that was Aegis 1601 was a little bit too wide. We're now at turn number 4, collecting a couple of cars, and in return Alluri and Rob Nitro go through. Valari, and it's Supercar 1 was involved. We've got another car off there, Supercar and Yardstick, so just to be safe, Supercar's got a penalty and gone off the circuit, so not a good start there to young Pedro Ramos, who's returning here for another championship. Really dedicated to Simraceway, fantastic to see. He's in almost every championship that Simraceway's put on over the last year or so. It's been absolutely brilliant to watch this sort of level of commitment from the drivers here today. And as they complete lap number 1, it is still TGR that lead. But they are split now by Master Rocco, so he's got it done. He's flying the flag. Press the EV, you can see they're still sporting that Go Bananas livery. But now it's basically a 1v1, isn't it? It's a one-on-one duel between Master Rocco and M. Walker. So much lies on this right now. Make their way going down in towards that exiting corner again, back onto the main oval. Master Rocco trying to take a much tighter line. And I'm wondering if that's not going to come round and bite him in the rear end, because it can cause you to lose. So, I mean, if you're on the attack, then yeah, fine, you can go for it and try and get the run out on the next corner, but that far back, there's a good 3 seconds between the two cars at the moment, and so cross the line, it's just not going to get you the advantage you need, and by the time you're back up to speed again, the cars have already eked out even more time. So TGR Dimit-R still third, Asphalt Fliege 4, TGR Alluri in P5. So one of our new drivers here today, making his debut in here for TGR. It's his first championship race. Interesting to see how he gets on. We'll keep a close eye on him as the race progresses. Vegas 1601 just ahead of Rob Nitro and TGR Davis. And TGR's expanding, isn't it? They've got a field of now 4 drivers in this race, if I'm not mistaken. So 2 further additions to what we saw in the 6XJ4 Championship. Davis being one of them, and another, of course, being Mr. Alluri as well. So we'll see what he can do as they make their way back up onto the oval again. He's chasing down Asphalt Fliege, and I think at the moment it's just a case of trying to provide that rear gunner support. It's still the early stages here, but if you can distract Asphalt Fliege, put him under some pressure, and the man in third place, TGR Dimit-R, is going to have a bit of an easier run trying to escape him and settle down. That's exactly what the TGR boys want to do, and I think every other driver on this race circuit is very, very cautious to let that happen. They don't want to see TGR pull away, because when they get into clean air, these boys are unstoppable. If they're caught and you can finally get a move on one of them, then you've got half a chance, but it takes something special, and Dimit-R going a bit wide there may just be the catalyst. And Asphalt Fliege's assault, just to confirm, Mapashito is the man who's joined TGR, so he is not making his debut, but he's basically on a new account technically. So he's changed his name, so he was Mapashito, and he's now TGR Alluri. So we'll see what the Lone Ranger, you could say, could do. Now he's in a team environment, we'll see how his driving progresses. There's so many benefits to being within a team. Of course, you have testing time with people who maybe around the same skill level as well you, but it also helps to have a second pair of eyes, doesn't it? If you're on the racetrack and you could do all the practice in the world, but it's no good if you don't know what to practice. If one of your teammates can watch a couple of laps, see where you're going wrong, see where you can easily pick up more time, then it's going to get a much, much higher success rate than if you were testing alone. So there is so many perks to being part of a team like TGR. I think this is starting to become apparent as ATS Aga starts to make his way through, and there are more and more teams appearing. If you'd like to get involved with a team, then you go to simraceway.com, press the forum button, and there's a whole thread dedicated to racing teams, whether you want to create a new one or join an existing one. Back onto the banking again. I thought that was going to be a bit of a move there from ATS Aga 1601, but no such thing happened. Drivers try and settle down into a rhythm now with 5 laps in, of course. Very short, very punchy laps around this circuit, but they are extremely demanding. It's going to be testifying to see just how well these cars cope under the conditions as A just goes up the inside there, and that might just cost him dearly. Alluri dropping down the order like flies at the moment. He's down to P7. B Davis now, his teammate, is going to be a bit cautious about overtaking him. Obviously the last thing you want to do is make contact there, and he almost gives that rear end a bit of a kiss, unfortunately, and the two make the slightest of touches. But it is Alluri that's now down to 8th position, but he's going up the inside of his teammate for P7, and he's gone too wide. Davis reads it like a book, and they may well just be 3 wide almost there. Rob Nitro luckily escaping a TGR onslaught as Alluri looks to try and get his race back, pointing in the right direction again. It was looking very promising earlier on. Apologies for any technical difficulties we've got at the moment. We are working on sorting them. Hopefully it should all be fixed right now, as Alluri's race may not be. He's tried the same move again, and Rob Nitro got us back underneath, and this is what we mean this circuit. You've got to try something exceedingly special here. Try and push your way through. TGR drivers now again battling amongst themselves right in the heart of the midfield. They're side by side as Alluri is on the outside trying to sweep it round. He has just got away with that one. Beautiful stuff there. Now Alluri is going to try and move on again. So Alluri holding on against Davies, as this is almost a dream scenario right now for Rob Nitro, because while those two duel away, he's able to scurry off into, I would say sunset, but it would more be a dawn sort of situation, wouldn't it, when you look at the night sky at the moment. Over the start-finish line again here on lap 7. And what an effort it's been so far by TGRM Walker. You've seen this at Cadwell Park. We're seeing it again here today. He's pulled away from SDEV Master Rocco by a whopping 3 seconds at the moment, and that gap has stabilised over the most recent couple of laps. TGRM Walker is definitely one of the hottest up-and-coming talents to keep an eye on. Not too sure what's hotter at the moment, his talent or the way those tyres are going across the tarmac. They're going to be screaming for grip here. He's throwing the weight of the 6XJ4 around. Bearing in mind that M Walker now very established with this car as well after great success in his first ever championship as a TGR driver. He goes over the line to set a 56.509. He knows this car inside out. However, first time driving on this circuit competitively, so not a few factors here today, but he's handling the law exceedingly well. Rocco just behind that 4.1 seconds back now after a lap that was considerably slower than that of our current race leader, TGRM Walker. So just behind him as well then, TGR Dean Moore is about 3 seconds behind Master Rocco, so 6 seconds currently either side for Master Rocco. It's not looking too good for him, is it? It's not comfortable. You look behind you, there's a TGR driver, you look ahead, there's one as well. It's almost like they're taking over the Phoenix Raceway. And Master Rocco is just trying to be the resistance to send them packing their bags, but to do that he's got to try and catch M Walker, and the gap's only growing as laps go by. And M Walker's going to go over the start-finish time for another time, a 56.407 and a 56.567 for Master Rocco. So there's the difference there in times at the moment. You can just see how much these guys are having to push at the moment. Asphalt Liège is P4, doing very well at the moment as well. Asphalt Liège, the first driver inside the top 5 who isn't in a team, and in fact the only driver who's without a team. You've got TGR 1 and 3, SDEV in second, and an ATS driver of Aegis 1601 in P5. So Asphalt Liège still trying to fly that solo flag around the circuit, and it's going well for him so far. He's driving very gracefully indeed. He's got his head set in the right place by the looks of things. Much more conservative line there through the penultimate corner than what we're used to seeing. But it's working for him. We'll keep an eye on lap times and let you know how he's lapping in relation to our race leader, because this could still technically have some impact on our race. And Walker at 56.3, 3 tenths faster there that time than Master Rocco. 56.8 for D Moore and a 56.7 for Asphalt Liège, who's not quicker than the race leader, but he is going very, very well at the moment, which is what we want to see. And the number 27 is looking rather comfortable inside the top 5. I'm sure he'd love to get himself on the podium, but one step at a time. There's still a long, long way to go. We're not even halfway through the race yet here at Phoenix. Nor are we halfway through our evening of action. Don't forget, we've got the 900 to 1100 Skillquant coming up for you just after this. So that's the B race and the A race. You really won't want to miss that one. It's going to be a thrilling evening of entertainment, I can assure you. Walker's going to go through to set himself yet another lap time here. The real question on everyone's minds though is this going to be an improvement further? It's still not a 56.4, so he is going exceedingly faster. A 57 flat for Master Rocco, so starting to lose even more time now. Maybe a bit of a mistake the lap beforehand or something, but either way, Master Rocco not looking too comfortable in second place at the moment. He's not looking as secure, especially when Asphalt Liège was a solid 4 seconds faster, 4 tenths faster. Now hold on a minute, because TGR D Moore has been in the wars again, and the inconsistencies continue for the TGR driver. We said before it was the race starts, and if you remember back to Cadwell Park, a very similar thing happened. He's now fighting for P4 with ATS Aegis threatening to send him down to the last spot inside the top 5. Two identical liveried cars, two very different drivers, however. They make their way onto the oval part of the circuit yet again, and look at TGR D Moore. He's going to put some jet fuel into the car and hope for the best, because that's the only way he's going to catch back up and regain the progress. Line, you can just see how much time he's lost there, a 57.3. The leader is doing about a 56.3, so almost an entire second lost that one lap. Well, it was still only 2/10 slower than the man behind him chasing, so that just goes to show how much his pace can be dictated here by our race leader. He's still going incredibly well at the moment, as we are officially halfway into the race right now, and a little bit of a scribble there, but nothing too much to worry about for TGR and Walker. A bit further down the field, just see if there's any battles potentially going to come to fruition in the next few moments. If there aren't going to be any battles, I can assure you they're going to come from either Antonov, 1.7 petrol, who's just gone wide again there, that's not looking too good for him, or Kobayashi and TGRB Davis, both of those guys getting relatively up close and personal now. Things starting to move around a lot here at Phoenix. There are some moving pieces on the chessboard and no one's quite sure whether it's going to be a poor moving next or maybe even a checkmate, but Kobayashi is looking to try and take the risk regardless. Not that far behind the Ben Davies, or B Davies car now, beg your pardon. Let's see what this man is capable of as they go through. So number 3 and 4, that little chicane there, which has caught many a driver out in the past. I'm sure it's still going to catch more out as well. It's an evolving list, and very much like the Wall of Champions, there have been some great sort of collected those inside bollards, which very are reminiscent of the Mario little plant pots you see it now. Kobayashi and Antonov have had a little bit of a mix-up because Kobayashi has gone straight through. Is it 1.7 petrol? Yes, it is. So that's what's gone wrong then. It's 1.7 petrol now down into 10th position. Now that is a real problem. So I'll run through the order as things stand at the moment then. It is still M. Walker the leads, Master Rocco second, third Asphalt Liège, fourth place TGR D Moore, fifth place is now Adrian 1601, but Asphalt Liège has got himself on the podium. We did say watch out for it, and nothing ever is certain here until that checkered flag falls. You never know what's going to happen. And TGR D Moore showing more inconsistencies here again, and once he irons those out, you've got to feel like TGR will be the ultimate force in this Skillquant. You just cannot reckon with them. But as we take a look at what M. Walker's doing, a 56.4 that time, by still another 2/10 faster than Master Rocco. The gap ever expanding at the moment, and it's just not the news that the SDEV driver wants to hear really. He's driven a great race, and it's going to be a big points haul as well, and I've got a feeling like we may see another season finale like we did at Cadwell Park. Now these two drivers battling amongst themselves for championship glory. I can see them becoming bitter rivals extremely quickly. This isn't going to be a rivalry for the faint of hearted. These drivers have given it 110% on the circuit every time those wheels set down here at Phoenix, or Cadwell Park for that matter last time. It was an insane battle to watch. Easily the best race of the championship. Now we're seeing that rivalry revived and back into perspective here. Watch Antonov back on the rear end of 1.7 petrol. It's almost like he's looking for a move there, but hasn't really been able to pull it off. A bit unlucky, if anything. Now over the start-finish line go the two drivers. Yet again, it's going to be a 58.7 for Antonov there, so not looking too good. You've got Supercar 1, who's almost up on his tail as well, out 0.8 seconds away. These drivers are going to start going into that node now, lap number 17 and 22. Things start to pick up a little bit. The question is just how much are they going to pick up, and who's going to be the man to flick that switch and put himself into that zone where he's just able to start hammering down the lap times, hammering down the second times, looking for the next best possibility to overtake. Will it be Antonov? Will it be Supercar 1, who dropped back after such a terrible start? It was a shame to see, but still running though. Again, a testament to his confidence, his commitment to Simraceway and the car. Crash early on there, still be at a severe disadvantage, but carry on knowing that you're just in it because you love racing, no other reason, and that is what makes this game so special. The type of racer it attracts. 7.073 there for Supercar, not quite as hot was what he needs to get himself through the order. But what he does need there is Antonov to go just a bit wide, and I think he's just about taken it. Yes, he has. Supercar 1 starting to chop his way through the field right now. 1.7 petrol will be the next man on his hit list. So that starts to add up. We're on that number 18 of 22 right now. Through that chicane again as well. Supercar 1 looking increasingly dangerous here. More and more of a threat to that rear end of 1.7 petrol, especially through that prior corner when you're going towards the turn that will link you back out onto the oval section of the circuit. And going over the start finish line come the two drivers. But the inside of turn 1 is 1.7 petrol that's still holding that line. He's done very, very well to not lose it as well. It's going to be a real case now. Can he hold on for the next 3 or 4? So a quick run through of your full order at the moment then is TGRM Walker that still leads here after 20 laps, but he's got the pit button lit. Now that cannot be overlooked. We've seen it before. It's already ruined one person's race. Is it going to ruin another one? Remember again, back to Cadwell Park, where a late pit stop changed the course of what we thought was a certain position. And it turned out to be the exact opposite. And Walker has got to be praying he's got enough fuel left. If he's undershot by about a lap, he'll be furious. It's such an easy mistake to make, yet it can happen to absolutely anyone. Even the best of drivers have made the same error at some point in their career. Over the start finish line then to start his penultimate lap of the afternoon is TGRD Walker. So 56 there, 0.638, so still going quickly. Not even bothering to go like a little bit slower. The man is just an absolute cannonball at the moment. What is Walker capable of then? Is this going to be the perfect run? He would have started from pole position, and he's going to finish right at the front as well. It'll be another awe-inspiring performance from the TGR team with a very convincing second spot for Master Rocco, who's just not quite able to stick it with Mark Walker at the moment. Down now in towards the hairpin, you can just see the turning angle there of the car doing much deeper than what we first expected. But let's take a look and see if there are any other remaining battles on the circuit at the moment. I think it's all kind of taken a nice calm aspect to it now, which is nice to see. For the drivers at least, they can get themselves home without any damages or any further penalties or decisions to be reviewed after the race. It's just a flat drive to the line, and despite being so close as well, there's no one really within a berth of making some sort of assault on the car in front other than Supercar 1. He's 10th at the moment. It's 1.7 petrol, who's 9th. He'll be on the inside of turn number 1. Unless that car can sweep it all the way around, it's going to be a huge defensive stand if he can. But I think Pedro Ramos there has got the experience, he's got the knowledge to keep him at bay. Over the line they go. And it's a 57.434. And Supercar 1 still keeping that car nice and firmly placed in front at the moment. So great stuff there for the TGR start. Also great stuff for Supercar 1. We'll see what Walker's getting up to, because he's just come round the final corner. It's been a sensational run, but TGR Walker wins the first round of your Car of the Year Championship. He took pole, he's now taken the win. I'm pretty sure he's your fastest lap up there as well. Master Rocco takes second place. Asphalt Fliege takes third. TGR D-Moore will take an impressive P4. Despite starting second, he's able to recover to P4 after again some more inconsistencies have plagued the 6XJ4. We'll be hoping that our second round of the championship, using a different car of our Car of the Year awards, is going to bode some better luck for him. ATS Aegis 1601 rounds out your top 5 places. Rob Nitro Kobayashi 10, TGRD Alauri in P8, 9th place Supercar 1, 10th is 1.7 Petrol, 11th Andonov, 12th is B Davies, 13th SDEV Yardstick and 14th ATS Molnar. So I don't want to put this and jinx it at all, but to be brutally honest with you, there were no retirements here today. So the second race of the evening, no retirements, 100% attrition, absolutely great. The question is, can the guys in the 900 to 1100 B race do much better? Let's find out very shortly. So welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway for the penultimate race of the evening here at Simraceway for the launch of our brand new Car of the Year Championship. Now, I've said before, the 6XJ4 had its own series a couple of weeks ago, and now it's been featured in the first round of your Car of the Year Championship. You guys voted for it. Now it's time to see who can drive it the best around this circuit. It's the Flo that's on pole. He was the fastest in hot lap, but will he be the fastest off the line? Let's find out. He hasn't been so quick, and Diamondback may just leave him. Turn 1 and 2 can be very, very tricky to negotiate, as we found out there. Absolute carnage in the backfield. At least 6 drivers there, all getting involved. There is a restart on the way, so these drivers will get to attempt this one more time. Okay, so welcome back to Phoenix for yet another time here at Simraceway. If you're just joining us, a massive congratulations to all of our race winners so far. This is the Car of the Year Championship. Everybody got the chance to vote for their Car of the Year. The top 15 got put together, and the top 4 will be used in this championship. There were such greats who made the top 15, including the McLaren MP429, the legendary Seat Leon World Touring Car Championship version, which has seen so many great moments. But what great moments is the 6XJ4 going to give us around Phoenix Clark 10 with a bit of a jump start? He's going to immediately get a drive through, and it's a very, very on start. It's going to be set by the Flo. Now, I'm not sure if he's got a nudge from obviously the jumping Clark 10 behind. There's more carnage. There should be a second restart. Yes, there is. So, another chance for these drivers again. They're just maybe a bit too tense to deal with the pressure at the moment. They should get it right third time round, though. We'll have to wait and see. So you know what they say, the saying goes, third time lucky. And we'll be hoping that that is the case here at Phoenix, where the drivers will be looking to try and get this race underway for a third time. Tension's obviously very high. It's a new championship, which means, of course, that there's a lot of pressure on the drivers to get a good start. Pole position does not earn you maximum points. It doesn't earn you any. It's only half the job. And let's see if the flow can do the entirety of it, because away he goes. A much better launch by the pole sitter, but an absolutely brilliant one by Diamondback, who's trying to go round the outside. Now we're going to restart again. There must have been a start line incident, so driver's still maybe a bit too hasty at the moment. It was right in the background as well. Big puff of smoke. Hoping they've all got it settled down. Apparently, some guys didn't actually move off the line, so some drivers didn't move off the start line. That's why that we've got another restart. So a couple of moments for the drivers to regroup, and hopefully we'll be able to get this underway again now. So here we go again, the drivers, and you've got to feel like it's getting a bit frustrating now, especially for Diamondback, because all the starts we've had so far, he's been the one to get an absolutely glorious launch off the line, pull alongside our pole sitter, and actually overtake him on 2 occasions into the first corner. So we'll be hoping for much of the same, but is he going to find our success here at the moment, or is there going to be another hidden story? Everyone's off the line cleanly, big star there for Clark 10, the lead unchanged as they go into the first corner as Lazarus tries to sneak through. He's overtaken Diamondback. He's looking at the race leader. Great start by Lazarus 16. And he started from, I believe it was 3rd place on the grid. A. Costa out of the race already, so unfortunately there, he's only lasted a couple of corners. The driver's finally settling down. Hesh 838 goes over the bumps and back onto the circuit. Everyone else able to avoid him, but he is down to a lonely 12th position. So it's not the way you want to start. We also got Darek taking a bit of a bouncy route over the curbs, and he's gone way too wide of that corner. That's going to cost him severely. He drops down to 9th in the bright yellow 6XJ4. We come towards the end, however, of lap number 1, and look at the lead the flow has got. It has been a dream start for the pole sitter as Lazarus and Diamondback now end up dueling away. Here comes the man who started 2nd to try and get his place back, and he's heavy on the brakes, but he's just not quite aggressive enough to force it into a manoeuvre. You can hardly blame him either. They're now trying to make their way through nice and cleanly. And Diamondback now got his eyes surely focused on what's going on ahead of him now, because Lazarus 16 has gone somewhat downhill. I was taking a look back at what happened with Belinas and Clark 10. They were in a bit of a battle themselves, and then you just saw a wild Lazarus, so it's not gone well for Lazarus 16. A real unfortunate incident there. We've got a car going around. It's Lazarus again, who's trying to overtake the Dark Stig around the outside there, you can see, before they rejoin the oval, and he's gone right up to the barrier on the outside line. Supreme confidence by the man who had a great opening lap, and since then it's just sort of dwindled a little, and a slight error has put him right at the back of the field. He's going to work incredibly hard to push his way back forward. The lap completed though, 1 minute 2.011. That is a testament to how much time that incident cost him. A 56.5 was what the race leader said, so a huge deficit that he's lost there. The flow, however, talking of deficits, now 5 seconds clear of Diamond back in second as he drifts his way around. A bit of showboating going on maybe there from the flow. Looking absolutely brilliant right now, looking to run away with this one. Diamondback still chasing with Engange now, who is got a bit of an open door. Let's see if he can maybe knock the door off its hinges and give Diamondback a run for his money. Behind him, King Dio and Geronimo 1961 are going to start battling very, very soon. So Geronimo, another new driver here today. His debut in the 900 B race is nothing to be ashamed of. It's probably one of the most competitive Skillquants on the game, just purely because it's the drivers who've almost got the full package and they're just a little bit slower. So it's basically a kind of GP2 feeder series, so to speak. And we've seen some great names come through here. Watch out as well for the likes of TGR to be making appearances in this Skillquant very soon. I don't think it'll be much longer. They're putting on some great shows here around the various circuits at the moment. Great to see them have so much interaction on our YouTube channel as well. Don't forget, if you've got any questions at all, any feedback, then don't forget to tweet us at Simraceway, on my personal Twitter at LiamJenkins21. We'd love to hear what you're thinking of tonight's action. Is Geronimo is going to be thinking it's good, but it's not quite a pass on King Dio as he makes his way back onto the oval part of the Phoenix International Raceway, down to the yellow line. You can see there where over the years the paint has worn slightly and the cracks in the road begin to show, making that line extremely dangerous. You want to go all the way down to the bottom at 57.9 though, 0.39 I beg your pardon, for Geronimo. He tries to keep King Dio in check. Just behind him you've got Sierra and Lazarus 16. Those two are going to be two dark horses here potentially. Sierra 28 was a bit of a late comer to this one. Some technical issues before the race meant he got postponed slightly, and now it may be ending in the garage. He's gone way off the track there. He's luckily recovered it without too much trouble, so to speak. Now he's going to defend very heavily off the dark stig, and he may have just kept that car ahead for now. I'm not too sure how much longer it's going to be, but he's done a good job there, Sierra 28. The dark stig sneaks up the inside though, surprisingly, and Sierra's having to take the long way round, and Frey's got the momentum. The drag race here as they go back into the main straight. The dark stig comes back underneath again, and here come the two drivers. This is what Simraceway is all about. We said these cars have got the potential to put on some great racing. The dark stig with a beautiful pass there, right around the outside of Sierra 28, who's now got to try and get it back as soon as he can, ideally. Otherwise he's got to, well, struggle hugely the remainder of this one, when you look at the amount of cars that are starting to queue up behind, all waiting for their shot at overtaking here. So let's see what these drivers are going to think of, because Darek already taking no prisoners. He wants to go straight through, and it's going to be a case of if not, maybe, but when. When he gets to the inside, he's not quite there, and a bit of a nudge almost as Darek outbrakes himself. But it's even worse than a nudge. Hesh 838 takes the Martini-inspired livery car through into 8th position. And, oh no, big into net. Geronimo's retired as Belinas goes, that's not Belinas, sorry, Reno on the inside of Darek. So Reno up to P9 after Darek goes incredibly wide in that final corner. And that's how Hesh got through as well. So 2 positions lost in just a matter of metres of tarmac. But Geronimo, the debutant here today, was running strong in the midfield. That is no longer a statistic as he retires from the race at the end of lap number 6. Unfortunate error there for him. Hopefully we'll see him back in the second round of the championship. And don't forget, of course, if you do want to see more of Simraceway or more about this championship, then head over to the website simraceway.com, press that forum button, and you can scroll all the way down to a section dedicated purely to just the championships, where you can find all the relevant information, including how to sign up and get involved if you're new to Simraceway, or if you were looking to enter, how to of course go about it when the next event is, and also talk to all the drivers as well. Don't forget who partake in this series, but it is going to be a fantastic event. There's some great cars and tracks lined up. Round 2, of course, going to the Auto Club Speedway with the Honda NSX GT500. Round 3 was the Simraceway Car of the Year at Donington Park, and round 4 the Jaguar D-Type at Laguna Seca. You won't want to miss that one, and again another $1,000 prize pool It's going to be brilliant. The winner of the 900 to 1,100 Skillquant gets a top prize of $1,000, and Darek making a move there that was worth about 50 because he almost made it stick. It come back to bite him, but that's a long train of cars in the midfield that are starting to pick up some steam now. They make their way towards the rear end of this circuit again. There's 6 cars there all dueling away currently. They run up to P5, which is currently held by the Dark Stig. Then it's Sierra. We're about a quarter of the way through this race. That number 9 just got underway. Big start for Sierra at the moment. #838 is very much applying pressure though, and it's not really something that #838 is going to want to be looking at right now, I can assure you. They make their way towards turn number 4, and the Dark Stig taking a much more conservative line, forcing Hash almost off the circuit there. There's no room. It's so narrow, this infield circuit. It's almost like Daytona has been cut in half, so to speak, and #838 there finding out exactly what I mean firsthand. He's going to be left scratching his head at what he's got to do to get through here. These cars are quite narrow, but very unpredictable. Huge power to weight ratio with these ones. They really are a beast to contain. And now we go back towards the last part of the lap again. And Darek now dropping back a little from P10. We'll run you through the order as things stand at the moment then. So it's still your pulsar to the flow that leads. This time the gap is up to 9 seconds. Second place is Diamondback, having pulled away from all of the threats behind him. Garge is a further 4 seconds back, with Blackrock recovering to P4 at the moment. The Dark Stig P5 is being hounded, of course, by Sierra 28 and #838. Then you've got Reno, who's got his own problems with King Dio, and Darek immediately in his vision. Molina's just outside the top 10 at the moment. And Clark 10 is in P12 with our one retirement of the day so far. Geronimo 1961, so our debutant retiring on lap number 6 of 32 under a floodlit Phoenix International Raceway. It's been a gorgeous event so far, some great overtaking moves and showcasing of exactly why this car was voted as one of the greatest of 2014. You could see why. It was absolutely marvellous to watch in its own championship at the start of this year. And here's something marvellous as well. Sierra's getting a bit racy right now, and he's going to have to think a bit more cautiously there. He was on the outside of turn number 1. Realising how that was going to fare, he immediately cut back underneath. But it's a case now of if he loses his position, he's immediately going to fall down 3 more, and a terrible bit of cornering there by #838. He's essentially let Sierra 28 just close right up on that rear end. As you can see, the wheels start to get sideways through that corner as you struggle to keep the car in a straight line. But what a brilliant piece of machinery available for such a cheap price in Simraceway as well at the moment. Don't forget, if you don't have this car yet and you want to get a hold of it and take it for a spin, then your place to go is simraceway.com. The price of the car is absolutely brilliant. Of course, you don't have to buy it with real money. You can also buy it with in-game credits, making the career progression ladder so much more interesting. That all the cars you can buy technically are free of charge if you play your cards right and are fast enough and dedicated enough. Less than $2.50, the car with a top speed of over 150 miles an hour. Great bit of machinery, it really is. The 6XJ4 available, as we say, $2.50 for you throwing it in your garage today and take it around some of the best circuits in the world. And #838 is trying to overtake the Dark Stig at one of the best circuits in America. Can he cut underneath? The answer is he just might do. It'll be a drag race. Where is Sierra 28 going to fare into this one? The Dark Stig has been absolutely run rampant there. He's going to be left wondering how that happened. Great bit of mastermindedness by #838. They go over the start-finish line and in towards the first corner again. And Sierra 28 is going to be looking all the way through. Now he wants to try and sneak through while these guys are battling. A dream scenario, but if he starts getting held up, there are 3 more warriors waiting to pounce here and maybe get themselves involved with this ever-growing line of drivers that just don't seem to want to hold up here. Again, a bit wide there by the Dark Stig, and Sierra's got to fancy his chances. He's closed up nice and early on. They go through the chicane. There's not going to be much room. He's on a tightrope as he's effectively on the track limit. He's got to come back now. The Dark Stig goes so wide, and Sierra 28 must have made that one sick. Yes, he has done, but watch out because the Go Bananas car of Renault is now attacking. The Dark Stig is under a world of pressure right now and also in a world of trouble. He doesn't know where to park that car. Renault is going to surely go for a bit of a move if he gets close enough. He gets to the inside, not quite that time by, but there's a lot of promise there for the Go Bananas car. Now let's see what the Dark Stig is capable of. He's going to try and push his way back through, and he's got to do it quickly. I mean, you take a look at what H83 is doing at the moment, and up to P5 already pulled out a whopping 2.9 seconds there. 28, the Dark Stig and Renault, the three drivers who are next in line to them. Darek and King Dio. The next two behind that, so that ever-expanding line of cars. It wouldn't be surprising if Belinas maybe catches him, should he start lapping a bit faster. We've still got 12 runners out of 13, with Clark 10 being the remaining of those at the moment, with Belinas 11th, Dio 10th. And it's Darek in that whopping battle. Going through, of course, and the flow. Still your race leader ahead of Diamondback. So things are, as they started at the front of the order. Everywhere else, though, it's sort of been a case of hot swapping and everybody rolling a few dice around. There's been some questionable calls out there today so far, but overall it's been absolutely marvellous to watch. So Sierra 28 still on the outside at the moment. Trying to do everything he can to keep that position. Now the Dark Stig under even more pressure than what we saw originally. Renault going to try and give him a real run for his money through here, but the Dark Stig is effectively using Sierra 28 as a bit of a lifeboat to escape, to get away from the Titanic that's sinking behind him at the moment. The question is he going to freeze in the water, or is he going to swim to safety? There's only one way we're going to find out, but as we approach half race distance here at Phoenix, one more lap until we approach it. There's a yellow flag out, and I'm wondering what that was for there actually. Was there a bit of a moment? It looks like it may well be a bit of a slide action, so it wasn't so much of an incident, but Shake 38 has lost a bit of time to Sierra, only a few seconds ahead now. That was a lot more a few seconds ago. And the Dark Stig is now really starting to apply some pressure on Sierra. It's exactly like I described a moment ago. As the drivers dive down in towards that left-hander again, it's easily the trickiest corner because it tightens up so quickly, but there's so much room on the outside. This is a tricky point because obviously the optimal racing line is to get as close to those little Super Mario plant pots as the track will allow you to. But with all that extra running room, it tempts any driver within a good metre radius to try and move and try their luck at Russian roulette and slot their car on the outside. But by doing that, they've got so much more tarmac to climb, and it's almost like doing a joker lap in Rallycross. You've got so much more to contend with. Is it worth doing it early on, or do you risk it when you know you're going to get more speed than your opponent? It's great to see the minds of these drivers at work. They really are something else here at Simraceway. The way they approach is a lot more methodical than what it used to be as well. If you take a look back to some of the races we've had over the past year where it's been very incident filled, the attrition rates used to be very high with sometimes only half the cars finishing. Now in the championships it's a very different story as Renault goes up the inside. That's what we're talking about. And look at the extra room that the Dark Stig had to take. Exactly what we were referencing there with that corner. Renault knew exactly what he was doing. And Go Bananas car is going to be going bananas after that move. As we were saying though, with the crashes and the incidents, I mean, over the past year, they've reduced significantly. We're lucky now. I think if we get one retirement in a race, it's absolutely fantastic to see. We've got Clark and Belinas battling as well. But I think the point I'm making is just that the dedication of these drivers is unparalleled. You don't see it anywhere else. If there's a 50-odd lap race and a driver crashes on lap 1, it's not like he's going to retire. He'll do everything in his power to fight back through the field, to get everything he can out of this race, because he knows that the championships are so short. You need every point you can possibly get. And with that kind of dedication, that mindset where you will finish that race, it means that we see so much more entertaining racing. And I think it's fair to say that Simraceway has exploded as of late in terms of not only racing talent, but the product as well. The way that it's just being portrayed in these broadcasts is absolutely fantastic. So I think we've got to do a massive shout out to all the drivers here today, because they're putting on a wonderful show at the moment. And Clark 10 has put on a great show there as he's holding 11th now, clear of Bolinas by about 2 seconds. A bit wide there for Darek, with the Dark Stig still very much within range, but it's all about Sierra now, who's caught Hesh. We said Hesh 838 had lost a few seconds, now lost a few more, because Sierra 28 is actually right behind him as he starts to reel in that gap. Now down in towards that left-hander. Is Sierra going to go wide? I think he might do, and he's going to bump onto it. That's not going to be healthy for the suspension. He's taking an absolute whooping there, and he'll be hoping to do that again anytime soon. Onto the main straight come the 2 stars at the moment, battling over that last position inside the top 5. You've got a feeling like Sierra 28 has got to be the favourite at the moment. Hesh has already lost a lot of time. Is he succumbing to the pressure here? The drivers will be looking on just behind, bearing in mind that even if you do make that move and it doesn't quite pay off, you're going to lose a solid 3 positions minimum right now for Sierra. He can't just attack. He's got to be methodical. If he's not here, there's going to be some real consequences. Down over the chicane again, a bit of a bump there for the SDEV star, but I think that's going to shake up his race too much. Back onto the old NASCAR part of the circuit. Phoenix, of course, a very unique oval when you compare it to the likes of the super speedways. Very, very different characteristics indeed. The banking much lower, meaning that it can be a bit more adventurous to try and get to the outside and run that high line, but it's not always advised, and it can have varying consequences. Take a look at lap times then. So Sierra in 6th did a 57.1, Hesh 838 a 56.847. So despite losing time, Hesh 838 was much improved that time by, so an instant response there by the driver who currently rounding out the top 5. He's eager to not lose it and see what he's going to bring here for the rest of the race. And a bit further ahead as well now, ATS in Ganj is starting to put some pressure on Lazarus 16. Now, we spoke about Lazarus early on. Lazarus has actually got back through to 3rd position, so I'm wondering if Ganj has actually made a bit of an error on though. But Lazarus was 4th, he's now up to 3rd, so presuming Ganj is going to have to be moving his way through very pronto if he's got any hope whatsoever of keeping all this together. Now everybody trying to shuffle their way through. I'm watching the line of Lazarus at the moment as they go over that chicane. He's looking a lot more rugged here compared to what the other drivers are doing, especially that man ATS and Ganj, who's able to stay with him and not really convert it into any type of attacking manoeuvre at the moment. So another lap complete in the books, and ATS and Ganj does a 56.9. He's actually matched Lazarus that time by, so the gap's not as big as we first thought. Sierra 57.2, and a 57.2 as well for Reno. 57 flat for the Dark Stig, and a 56.6 for Darek. Now, I don't know where that's come from, but Darek has obviously taken on some rocket fuel just a couple of moments ago. I didn't see him dive into the pits to pick it up, but maybe someone threw it at the window, because Darek is setting the timing alight, and a frisky move on the Dark Stig has come to fruition. I thought there was going to be contact there. I don't know where he's got the guts to do that from, but that is one of the bravest attempts at a part of this circuit I think I've ever witnessed. Not only is Darek flying right now, but it's almost like he's transformed into a superhuman. Watch this space. Darek's coming up, and he's coming up fast. Reno's going to be under pressure very, very soon if things stay as they are. bright yellow car is going to be a very, very formidable opponent when he joins the back of that train. I've got a feeling that this is going to be one of the biggest finishes to a race in quite some time now. We've got this midfield hype going through, and again, massive thank you to all the 35 people that are watching this YouTube broadcast at the moment. Be sure to subscribe to Dimitри's channel because the man puts so much work into getting these races absolutely spot on week in and week out. Wiping the chat window in the bottom corner to all of the graphics you see on screen. Dimitri truly is a wizard, so be sure to press subscribe on his YouTube channel because he sure does deserve it. It's right there under the video, and it only takes about 0.06 seconds, which is about the gap that the Dark Stig is away from Darek through there, and now a poor bit of cornering from Darek. Seeming like that momentum may have just shifted a bit, and now the Dark Stig, who's been moving around more positions than just about any driver possible here combined, has now got a slight chance at reclaiming what was his 8th position originally. Into the first corner on lap number 25, goes over the checkered lines there, which indicating the centre of the tarmac for that bit of corner, and I feel that Darek may just be pushing a bit too hard. He put in some blistering lap times over the past few moments, but if you push the car so much and you're way out of your comfort zone, then there's only so much you can do before something goes wrong, and it may just be that now. The Dark Stig avoids contact, and Darek may just be driving a bit too hard or trying things that he's not really comfortable with. It's easy for a driver to do when you set a personal best and you've accidentally attacked a corner differently, or you've gone down a gear a bit too quickly. Those things can become habit, and when you're not comfortable and ready to deal with the consequences those actions bring, you see an incident like that where the driver just maybe takes a bit too much curb, or a wheel definitely goes over that line. Something so simple that doesn't look like on the surface and it's going to hold much of a problem, but in return can actually make or break someone's race. Well, Darek's going to be 10 times more determined than he was before, which was already pretty determined. If you remember that move he made at that very corner just a few moments ago, he's going to have to try and redo all that work again, and that's King Dio going way off there, and he's rejoining the circuit at an ideal point right at the back of the apex. There was no contact involved, it was self-inflicted. Maybe he's just trying to show off for a potential drift video, who knows? But that was definitely some sideways action there for the Martini coloured car. Once again, Darek now to the inside. You can see he's been relentless here in trying to get that position back. He's going to drop to the yellow line, move his way back up, right under the headlights of the Dark Stig. It's a bit cheeky to cut across that quickly, isn't it? And immediately slam the door shut, and then park a truck ahead of it just to make sure that the Dark Stig cannot come back through. But so you want about the method, it's worked. And Darek's now currently in 8th position. What a move there for that yellow car. Now through the lap under again, this very tricky part of the circuit. In fact, I don't really think there's any easy part of Phoenix other than the slight breather you get when you hit the oval part. Another battle starting to perform as another closes. It's this time for that final position inside the top 5 as we enter the final 5 laps. It's a battle for the final position in the top 5. It's Hesh versus Sierra at the moment. Now these two drivers have had a bit of an illustrated history at this circuit so far, haven't they? And the Martini coloured car is going to want him to be maybe wiping the smoke look off the Go Bananas car of Sierra 28, who's got that SDEV slap bang in the middle of where it needs to be. It'll be a great point tool for a top 5 in the first one, and Hesh 838 is very much aware of that. Let's see what he's got up his sleeve there. Has he got any more jokers left in the deck, or is he stuck with 4 of clubs? We're going to find out one way or another. But he's got to try something adventurous here. Look how long he's holding that slide for, and it may just turn into a manoeuvre. He had to brake a bit. He's gone side by side, and it's a creative move if he can make it stick. He's going to hold that tight line, hold it through there. For Sierra up top, he's done it. And that was absolutely gorgeous bit of driving there from Hesh 838 to go all the way sideways around the corner, somehow convert it into an overtaking manoeuvre and hold his nerve as he enters the final part of the circuit. Breathtaking stuff by the man who now inhabits 5th position. So Sierra said as well, not doing too badly, but he's going to try and push his way back through before it's too late. We've got Bolinas here fighting again with Clark 10. They're also encountering what looks like traffic. So it's going to be, I think, Diamondback lapping, isn't it? Yeah, so when Diamondback trying to make his way through, which should be relatively unscathed. He's caught them at one of the more simple parts of the circuit, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to pass before turn 1. And Clark 10, look at the sportsmanship there by Clark 10. He was in a battle with Bolinas, and he's just surrendered 3 seconds to let the lap car through. Now, if that's not racing respect, I don't know what it says. A lot of people in that situation who maybe wouldn't give as much room as they should, or be slightly more selfish to let the car through. And look, Bolinas does exactly the same. These two drivers, a true credit here to Simraceway, risking the future of their battle, and it may even conclude it just to let a lap car through to make sure that they don't intervene with the drivers who are right at the top of the pecking order. Great bit of sportsmanship and racing etiquette by the drivers in 11th and 12th. And again, another testament that these drivers aren't even fighting for a podium or a top 5, top 6. They're fighting for the last 2 positions in the race, and they're still willing to let that go to let a lap car through. Now that is an absolutely staggering amount of respect there between the users in Simraceway, and something that really does set this sim apart from anything else on the market. As Clark 10 tries to clamber his way back through here, we've only got 3 laps to go before we call it a day, and Clark 10 has got a great view as Bolinas struggles just slightly there. Way down, bumping over the apex, and now Clark 10 almost gets the car through, but he took a bit of a ding on the right hand side. I think the front headlight must have taken an almighty wallop from the Mario plant pot, and he's slowed down. Now why is he slowing down now to let another lap car through? Now that one was Lazarus 16, so again the same etiquette applying there as Bolinas drops all the way below the yellow line to make sure there's no possible way he's going to intervene with Lazarus's race. Lazarus, who by the way still currently 3rd place after the move on ATS and Ganj early on. Now he's starting his final lap of the day. As the flow's already still 8 seconds clear. Now that is something quite important, isn't it? That the Flow and Diamondback qualified 1st and 2nd. After about the first 5 or 6 laps, the gap stood at about 6. It's only now 20 minutes later, which is really showing just how evenly matched these guys are. The Flow got the better start, and it's just a testament to how important these race starts really can be. If you can get a good one and a clean one, and you know you're consistent, then the job's are good. And the Flow has been driving in open air, admiring the hills here at Phoenix. The lights are all shining down on him, and it won't just be the lights that are shining down, because it's going to be a monumental point haul. The Flow wins the first round of your Car of the Year Championship for 2014. What a good result that is. The 2014 Car of the Year. The 6XJ4 came 4th, but it's the Flow that came 1st in this race. Diamondback takes 2nd, and he'll be quite gratified with that. He qualified there as well. He had some great starts, but after the restarts kept provoking almost a bit more aggression from him, he wasn't able to convert it into a race win. So still 2nd there for him. Lazarus does get himself back up to 3rd. Now that is a great achievement, bearing in mind where he was at the start of the race. He had an atrocious start and fought his way back through the field. So great driving for Lazarus. ATS and Ganj finished 4th. Hesh was 5th. 6th is going to be Sierra. 7th for Reno. Good result there for him. Darek in 8th. 9th for Dark Stig after one of the most action-packed races in a while. King Dyer in P10, Bolinas 11th, Clark 10 in 12th, and our one retirement for that race was Geronimo 1961 in 13th. So with 3 races down, 1 race to go. Strap yourselves in, guys. It's going to be a bumpy ride. So before you do it, though, go and get yourself some popcorn, go get yourself a beverage, and get yourself all settled in. Tweet us a picture at Simraceway of how you're watching this race. What's your current view at the moment? Are you watching it on a big TV? Have you got it on your monitor with some food alongside you? Let us know. Your Sunday evening entertainment is about to go off to a whole other level. It's 900 to 1100 A Skillquant take to the circuit. Hello everybody and welcome back live here to Phoenix International Raceway for the final race of your night in the first round of your Car of the Year Championship. It's STEV Doodle 12 that will start the race on pole position, but the question is, will he hold that position down into turn 1? Randomness inside, starting second. Mr. Jolly with a great qualifying in third. He's had a good launch as well as the red car. Mr. Jolly, the car streamed down into the first corner for the opening time today, with randomness inside on the outside. Doodle 12 trying his best to sneak it through, and Jolly may sneak up to second if he can play his cards right here. I don't think he's done so. He's actually down to fourth. Findle with a great move there, and look at this. This is the first race of the evening where it's been 100% clean start, not a single incident throughout the entire field. That is the quality of driver that we're talking about here. Absolutely beautiful. Just as I say that, Luke Sky takes a bit of a nudge from Enrico. Oh, and I'm not too sure whether that was intentional, though. He got a bit of a nudge, and as he's come back and hit Enrico's again, Enrico's just shoved offline about a millimetre, goes head first into one of the little Mario plant pots, and that may well have ended his race. The car currently stationary. He's moving again, but it is at a severe disadvantage. We'll see if there is any repercussions for Luke Sky, or whether that will be deemed as not his fault. He did take the initial contact after all. But one lap down then, the race well underway. And Mr. Jolly dropped down to P6 already, qualified in P3, so we're seeing this a lot at the moment. We saw it in the last race, we're seeing it in this one. Drivers who start really high and end up dropping down the order, and Jolly off again. Now he's avoided contact with the wall as he rejoins, but down to P9. Is he going to be 10? He can't get overtaken by Juge, but I think he's blocked it off. Mr. Jolly does just about enough, I think, as Juge tries to go back through, but Jolly again sideways and drifting his way onto the banking, and that's not something you're going to be doing at that corner, to say the least. Jujin moves back into position, so Jujin up to 9, Mr. Jolly's in 10, Andy Bob 11. So it's an SDEV sandwich where Mr. Jolly's become the jam, and I can't really deny that, can you? We've got a red car as well, so the strawberry jam of Mr. Jolly, but the man started in third. He had a great launch off the line into the first couple of corners, almost took second, and a couple of minutes later, quite literally, he's down fighting for the remaining spot inside the top 10. It's a scary, scary place to be in as a racing driver when your whole world just shatters around you and you have to try and keep yourself focused without letting anything like that get on top of you. You've got a great interview coming up as well with Formula Renault 2.0 Outstral driver TJ Fisher. That's going up on Simraceway very soon. So he raced in the Formula Renault UK series last year, did quite well for himself. He's now making the transition into the Alp series, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. We've got some great interviews with real drivers as well, including TJ, about how Simraceway can link to the development of your real racing career. I'll tell you what, Mr. PA is trying to develop his career very nicely, isn't he? He's up to P6 at the moment. He's got Andre Passer not directly behind him, but he is within reach at the moment. Now Raceway there or thereabouts as well, just waiting, trying to bide his time here today. Been a great start though, as we say, by most of the field. I know we've had a couple of incidents, but no restarts, and we kind of got to the stage of this circuit where those opening corners are so narrow that we almost expected at least one or two for the drivers to find their rhythm and find out what sort of line works best for them. But great adaptation for these drivers to this scenario with a race start. Andre Passer launches one up the inside for P6, and that backfires immediately. And he now actually may lose 7th to 9th Raceway if he's not careful. The SDEV driver will be going bananas if he can get the move done. He's in the slipstream at the moment as we come towards the end of lap number 4. If we go over the start-finish line again, you can see there the gap between the three drivers is absolutely minimal. They go through that first corner, which is so difficult to get right. I mean, I think I've only ever driven a few laps around Phoenix and I've never actually once got the corner spot on. Now, whether that says the corner's difficult or I'm terrible at driving, it's a debate for another day, but that corner is deceivingly difficult. It looks, just because it's flat, that it's easy to negotiate around. It's not. It's so narrow, but it begs you to take the extra tarmac because there's no repercussion. There's no wall to stop you. There's no grass to slow you down or spin you off, so you can take it. You're just going to lose a lot of time, and that's what catches drivers out. P8 slides his way back up onto the banking again with Andre Passer underneath him, seeing if he can make his way through, and I think he may have done it there. The yellow 6XJ4 takes a bit of a nudge, and that's the last place you want to be nudged as well, as you're at speeds about 120 miles an hour. Weaving, slicing and dicing as Simraceway has a bit of a fancy around the outside and just decides to save it for a rainy day. Alex Jusian and Mr. Jolly also at the moment not doing too badly, are they? You've got Mr. Jolly just directly behind, mirroring what Alex Jusian's doing at the moment as they hop, skip and jump over the curbing. And Mr. Jolly, of course, is trying to turn his race around before all the field starts to separate. Simraceway up the inside there of Mr. PA. He has actually made that one stick now. Now is Mr. PA going to come back? Or has Simraceway got the inside line all lovely tied up with a bow on it? Let's find out. Unfortunately for Mr. PA, the answer is yes, he does. And unfortunately for Jolly, he's still got that STEV problem of Alex Jusian potentially joining him anytime soon. We've got Mr. So that's Andy Bob and Luke Sky just behind. So there's too many STEV cars. I'm getting confused now. There's about 4 or 5 inside the bottom half. So we've got one in 7th, one in 9th, one in 11th. A nice little pattern there starting to evolve. So every other third position, that's an STEV, which actually goes up to the leader as well, who's also on an odd number, Doodle 12, who's established a very well-found dominance in this race so far. With Randomness inside in second, B13 in third, being hounded by Grau Findle PL at the moment. Let's keep an eye on this one and let you know how that one fares out. Grau Findle trying to sneak through, and again it's Phoenix International Raceway proving to be a real challenge for these drivers at the moment. So he dives through the next couple of corners. Grau Findle is going to be on top of the world. But just a bit of notification as well from Race Control that all lap 1 incidents will be reviewed after the race. So I'm assuming that's going to be Luke Sky and the second driver wasn't that? It will be Luke Sky and Enrico. Sorry, it was Enrico, wasn't it? Yeah, the incident between those drivers will come up. There may be one with Popo as well that comes into review, but they'll all be taken into account after the race. So all results will be provisional, but something that's not provisional is Alex Jusian's assault on Mr. PA. This is very much confirmed as the drivers start to weave in and out and get very, very up close and personal. See what Alex Jusian is capable of as they go down again. Now look at this as well, those 4 drivers ahead, and look at the move there by Jolly, and that may have just ruptured chaos. Jolly's gone to the outside, took Jusian by surprise, and because of that, unfortunately gave a bit of a nudge there to Mr. PA, and now STEV Andy Bob looks to try and break himself into the top 10. He's really feeling that, isn't he? They go round the final turn and over the start-finish line for the 8th time today. Andy Bob here with a real chance to put one over on Mr. PA. Whether he's going to do so or no remains to be seen as Popo tries to get a nose in round the outside. Now that's going to be intriguing. Yeah, it's a big, big mistake as well there we just noticed, and we may not have picked up on camera for Randomness inside at the end of turn number 8. Now he's 3 seconds away from Doodle. Oh my goodness me! He collides with inside curbing, and the barricades there have caught yet another driver out. We sat inside the wall of champions, and another big name falls victim to the nature of Phoenix. Randomness inside now sits in 4th position after being 2nd just moments ago. Grau Findle promoted up to 3rd place. It's B13 that's now going to try and set the charge on the race leader, and Doodle 12 is going to be laughing to himself. The STEV team looking for their first win this championship in all 4 races. And it's going to be a very, very convincing one if things stay as they are and that gap keeps on increasing. B13 trying to pull away quickly now as Grau Findle's there. Randomness inside is going to be just a little bit edgy, I assume. He's not going to be someone you want to take for a coffee, I can assure you. In this current state of mind, he's going to be purely focused on one thing, and that is getting that car back up to 2nd position before it's too late. You've got Pro Driver about 7 seconds away as well, another PL driver, so both Grau Findle and Pro Driver caught Randomness inside there, and a bit of a sandwich. No, it's a bit of a big sandwich, it's more of a Subway to be honest with you, but randomness inside, goes into turn number 1 as the driver in P4 on the 56.1. He has redeemed himself. He was 2/10 quicker that time than Grau Findor. And what a show we're seeing here as well. We often see with the longer races there's not as much action as drivers tend to be conservative. But then again, this is a 6XJ4, isn't it? And this is a car which just knows no limit. There's always action. You just hear the word 6XJ4 as Jolly has almost got the move completed there. He's on the outside. He's got to be careful because if he touches that white line, there could be a huge price tag to pay. And around goes. I think that's Luke Scott. Yes, it is a complete 360. And Strictly Come Simraceway is back underway. A solid 7.3 there from the judges for Luke Sky with a gorgeous pirouette. No, but it was a bit of a feisty challenge. I'd say it was a bit too heavy. I think as they all went into there, the visibility was limited. Bear in mind that the cockpit view, because these cars are so small, you're not exactly getting to see a whole lot. And when you're right up behind another one as well, especially bump drafting like these three were essentially, and they're almost 3 wide in turn 1. Yeah, he slows the car down enough, but you're always going to get a bit of lack of spatial awareness when you're not too sure just how wide this car really can be. And again, almost caught up in an incident. So Jolly recovering well. He's up to 8th place. I think he's just trying to get some damage limitation in right now. Well, he could still technically get 3rd. He's just got to really tie his shoes up and get running because time's running out. We're on lap 12 here already of 42. So time really is flying here at Phoenix. The man who's flying may just be Andy Bob behind, who's keeping a very close eye on Mr. Pierre. You've got Popo CZ as well. You may be looking at a potential move here on the Go Bananas car. He's always thinking about dipping below the yellow line, but at that speed, if you do that, the car is just going to swing out of your control and end up ploughing into the Simraceway barrier faster than you can say Car of the Year. Into turn number 1 again. Popo is looking absolutely on the limit right now. He wants that position, getting 1 place closer to a top 10 finish here. You can hardly blame him as well. There's 3 more cars ahead of Andy Bob right now that are within touching distance for him, really. He's got a real shot at making something of this scenario and pushing his way up the field faster than he possibly could have foreseen. So a long train of 5 cars continues to pick up more as Luke Sky 80 starts to up his game a little just to try and catch on to the end of these 2 drivers. He rides up to the wall again. And it's almost line astern right now. The first man to take the dip there, of course, being Mr. PO. We've got Mr. Jolly leading the train at the moment, though. Another train that's starting to pick up is pro driver Andre and Nye Raceway. Now that's 5th, 6th and 7th on the track at the moment, with pro driver obviously taking the reins, but I'm not too sure how long he's going to be in control of this horse carriage, because it seems to me like the horses are going to mind their own, and that one definitely does, because pro driver spins off. Does he collect somehow? Nye Raceway does not take any damage from that and keeps those all 4 wheels pointing in the right direction. Great bit of awareness and car control there for the STEV driver. You've got a feel for pro driver that within an instant he's gone from 5th to 7th, and now behind those 2 drivers who he was working so hard on keeping behind him. Forward again, Nye Raceway and Andre passes over the start-finish line, and you've got to feel like Mr. Jolly is going to be feeling a little bit excited right now with pro driver making an error. One of these drivers could, but that field is so intense. It's not even the midfield, is it? It's just half the field that have kind of accumulated now behind Mr. Jolly. That's absolutely stupendous. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, well, 6 cars, so almost half the field, which is a brilliant statistic, isn't it? And still no retirements, which is, again, and exactly what I was saying earlier on, the dedication and commitment for these drivers is just unreal. You don't get this in any other simulation, and Rikos was barraged off on lap number 1. 15 laps later, he's 32 seconds away from Luke Sky 80. You think that some people just give up and go, you know what, I'm not going to get anything out of it, I may as well retire. But not here in Sim Raceway. You fight to the end, you never know what's going to happen, and you just keep pushing. You make it what you want. If you think you can get inside the top 10, you keep pushing and you don't stop until you make it. And that is what we mean, the spirit, the motivation levels of everyone involved at Sim Raceway, whether it's a driver, a member of staff, or one of our racing instructors. It's absolutely vital. The motivation's pivotal, and motivation key there for Luke Sky. Makes a turn 1 pass on Popo CZ and recovers with 1 more position. He's up to P12. Sandy Bob 11th and 10 for Mr. P8. Ahead there you can see is Alex Juzhin with Mr. Jolly having quite a fun view going out of his rearview mirror at the moment, I can assure you. And he's got 3 or 4 batches of headlights all swaying around behind him, going slicing and dicing, looking for any kind of way through that's smooth. He's over 15 laps into the race and he's trying to pull away, and to some extent he is doing so. You take a look at what sort of lap time the Scotsman's setting at the moment. He's going to go over that start-finish straight now, and we'll update you. It's a 56.5, 2 tenths faster than Juzhin, 4 tenths faster than PA, 3 than Andy Bob, who's matched by Luke Sky and Popo. And Popo there going just a little bit too close to Luke Sky, I think, in turn number 1. That time was a bit slow, of course, having been surpassed by Luke Sky earlier on. See there, great support in the YouTube chat as always. A massive thank you to everyone watching this race at the moment. Absolutely brilliant to see so many of you here. We've got AJ and Karting. He says go Doodle, Naira, Andy and Alex. So he's obviously a bit of an SDEV fan at the moment. Alex Juzhin, currently the man who we were talking about, is right in the heart of that train. I think most of the drivers are. Simraceway P6, Juzhin's P9, Andy Bob P11. So the SDEV team are pretty much accumulating in that midfield battle of war in the trenches, so to speak. Lap number 18 of 42 has just been commenced. And it's Andre Passer that is holding his nerve at the moment, with Simraceway pushing on. Pro driver just behind him. Mr. Jolly in 8th place as well. There's a lot of potential here for these drivers, and you've got to feel like that this is going to be a big, big day for one of them. Is there going to be an upset though here in Simraceway? Are we going to see something out of the ordinary? The driver making his way up the order. Who knows? There could be a surprise or two lurking around every corner here. Every nook and cranny has got the potential to burst out into something amazing. And Alex Juzhin there under real pressure now from Mr. PA. The red car looking for revenge on the SDEV driver who made a pass a few laps ago. I mean, since his way up into 9th position, has been unable to catch Mr. Jolly, who's continually focused on moving ahead and escaping this absolute war that's emulating behind him. He cannot seem to just shake the tail off them yet though, can he? Can't let them go just quite. He needs there to be some action or some incidents, maybe drivers who start overtaking each other, but they're all being very conservative and very smart about how we approach this at the moment. And a bit of, again, like the door was open there for Jolly and he decided to let it go. PA, beg your pardon there, sorry. Another fight we're going to quickly check up on is that battle between 5th and 6th place. It was a 3-man battle, remember. It was Pro Driver PL in 5th, and he accidentally got himself in a bit of a tangle. Got himself free of the spider's web, but unfortunately running a bit late, and now is in 7th place behind Andre Passer and SDEV Simraceway as they go down in towards turn 1 again. Heavy braking, and not quite enough there. Or is it? Simraceway can't quite get it done, but Andre Passer's got to be inside. The two collide, and they still both going somehow. And Andre Passer, with a bit of World Touring Car Championship blood running through his veins, has sensed that one. A bit of argy-bargy in the heart of the race. As we approach the halfway stage, Andre showing no sign of letting up, is he? That was a brave pass by the mustard-coloured 6XJ4. Beautiful stuff, and we'll see what Simraceway can respond with, and whether he feels that move was unjustified and potentially unfair. I mean, that was just some aggressive and great racing minding from Andre Passer as he goes over the start-finish line to complete his 20th lap of the race. Down into turn 1, you've got Simraceway in 6th, 7th place is Pro. Hey, Jolly, and oh, we've had our first retirement of the day, and it's not going to come as a surprise. It was Enricos, the man was 14th and about 40 seconds away from any other driver, so whether that was a voluntary retirement or there being a further incident, Enricos watches the rest of this one from the garage. sure it'll be a bit chilly now as he's out of the hot environment of the car. Inside a nighttime paddock here at Phoenix International Raceway. Tracks, of course, if you're new to Simraceway, I haven't quite discovered what it's all about yet. All the tracks are absolutely free, and now it's a free opening for Alex Eugene. He's taken it, and it's almost like the buy one get one free offer has come to an end. And someone's tried to steal his carrier bag because now his own teammate is eyeing him up for a manoeuvre, and he can't quite position his car close enough to the inside line. The two go bananas cars will be very much aware of each other's pace. Into turn one, you can see a much wider line there from Eugene, just making sure he doesn't make any unnecessary contact with his teammate. You can hardly blame him. It'd be absolutely catastrophic if the two drivers collided. Oh, an SDEV, Alex Eugene, just a little bit bumpy over the curbs there. He's got to be quite careful here at Phoenix. It will catch you out, and it will not stop to give you mercy. If you make a mistake, it's going to punish you dearly. And back out onto the banking again. Mr. P8 is trying to pull away from these two now then, after Eugene just proved that you've got to be a bit more methodical here. You can't just go for a lunge, because if you do and it doesn't pay off, then you've got a world of problems all suddenly swarming around your car. Over the line we go, just behind these two SDEV drivers. We've got Luke Sky and Popo. That battle's still unresolved as Popo trying to come back at Luke Sky, and I think Luke was expecting that. The inside of turn number one is a great move there from Popo, but he's got to be careful because Luke Sky may just come back. CZ up to P12. And now setting sights on Andy Bob, who's already trying to get back past his teammate again. And talking of teammates, the SDEV team at the moment will be overjoyed because their man Doodle 12 is leading this race by 17 seconds at the moment. And what a performance this is turning out to be for Doodle 12. If someone asked me at the start of this championship who would be winning the first race of the season, Doodle would have been, I reckon, top 5, top 6. But what a drive this has been for Doodle here. Now this is what the Skillquant's all about, and why the Skillquant system is so beautiful in what it does. It helps progress drivers. You're always matched against drivers who are at a similar skill level to yourself. So you're never going to be in a race where you get absolutely raced off the circuit. And Doodle 12 has developed into quite the strong potential, isn't he? Look at the way he brings the car around. Let's take a ride on board actually with the race leader. 36 isn't that far away at the moment, but it's absolutely fantastic. Look at the way he goes on over the start-finish line and into turn one with your race leader Doodle 12 down to fourth, third, keeping the revs nice and high. Then ease it up for third, keep it there. If you go through second at turn one, the car is going to kick a load of oversteer at you. And the 6X J4 is incredibly hard to control. So down through the sneaky left and right, mind the curving there. It's easy to run wide, and Doodle 12 doing a good job at not doing so. Run as far to the inside as you can there. And it's deceivingly wide this corner. You want to take as much as the outside tarmac as you can, because it's a long right-hander that looks like it's never going to end before you bounce your way into that hairpin yet again. So down into second here, about 40 miles an hour before you start hitting the throttle. Take as much of the below yellow line tarmac as you can and get out to that outside wall before you get to about 4th or 5th gear. And then the rest is just plain sailing like you would any sort of NASCAR line. Start from the bottom, go middle of the corner, up to the top of the wall. Careful not to catch any outside paint and leave some bananas on the outside wall. But that was a lap on board with your current race leader. As we say, the Skillquant system. I remember Doodle 12 coming through the ranks and making his way through the Skillquant and improving himself. He then started racing in the 900 to 1000 A Skillquant and really was formidable, getting some great results under his name. And now he's going one further and he's currently leading ahead of B13. Now bear in mind, B13 has won some races in his time as well. It's hardly weak competition he's gone up against here. These are some top names in the realm of Sim Raceway. And he really is sticking it to the man right now. Doodle 12 with a historical performance. We'll see if any of his teammates can perhaps replicate this. If not this race, then definitely in future rounds of the championship. Don't forget, round number 2, we've got the Honda NSX GT500 in one of the Also Further, and that's the only track where the Super GTs run in real life. So you don't want to miss that one. It's the Super GTs in their natural habitat. And it's going to be super, if you pardon the pun. You don't really want to miss this, whether you're racing, watching, or even just keeping an eye on what's going on across our social media. Be a part of it. It is going to be a hugely exciting round. So lap start ticking by now for our race leader. He's starting to bring that gap down a bit, isn't he? With Randomness inside, still about 3 or 4 seconds away at the moment. Graufindu easing off into the distance, about further 4 behind. Now Raceway and Pro Driver have had a bit of a shake around. Now what has happened to Pro Driver, because he's down yet again. Mr. Jolly still 7th, keeping an eye on them. He's gained on these 3 quite a lot. But remember now that Pro Driver was in P5 at one point. He's now down to P6. I'm presuming he's got up from somewhere, so someone's had a bit of an error. Now, who did it belong to? We'll find out, but as of right now, Pro Driver has got himself right back in this behind on-direct passer. About 12 or so laps ago, had a spin, the early sector of the circuit, got himself spun back round again completely. But by that time, he was already about 5 or 6 seconds away from where he needed to be, and now finds himself in 7th place, chasing down on-direct passer and trying to avoid hard-charging Scotsman of Mr. Jolly. And it will be a very relentless Scotsman as well, because the man started in 3rd position, now down to 8th. It's been a terrible start, and he's recovered exceedingly well. The fighting spirit of Mr. Jolly is absolutely idealistic. It's what you want as a racing driver, that kind of drive and passion for what you do. And Jolly now just sits at a 3-second deficit behind these 3 drivers. There's still a potential outside chance of a top 5 result there. There's a long way to go. We've got about 12.5 laps of racing to come. Wouldn't surprise me if we do in fact see Mr. Jolly break his way at least into the top 6. Who knows what that Scotsman is capable of. As another lap goes into the lap charts. Graufindu doing a good job in 4th as well. In fact, Graufindu doing a very good job in P4, we've got to say. Very consistent here by the number 6. Graufindu looking for some major points this championship, and he's definitely going the right way about it, isn't he? The rest of the drivers are starting to ease up a little. The battle's getting a bit more conservative as the drivers hit that phase of the race where they kind of just accepting that they may not get as high as they would have liked, and they're just trying to bring the car home. You can't really blame them either with a circuit this demanding. Getting the car home's achievement in its own right. However, for Mr. Jolly, it's something entirely different. He wants to be part of the action. He wants to be in the spotlight, and let's see if he's going to get it. He had a nice little drift again. It's been the 4th or 5th time he's done that now. Now, whether it actually helps him or makes things slightly harder is still remaining in debate, but Mr. Jolly has a very unique way of carrying that 6XJ4 onto the banking, doesn't he? And now back down into turn number 1 again, and Mr. Jolly at number 30. It was a 56.5 for Jolly that time by the man he's chasing. Pro Driver did a 56.6, so a bit quicker again for Jolly. Andrew Parson was mirrored by that time, and Raceway in top 5 is trying to not fall victim to these 3 drivers who are queuing up behind him now. This could get a little bit fiery. We may just see a late train depending on how things go, and the worst thing is that if any of these drivers start making a move, whether it's Andre Passer in 6th, whether it's even Graufindu in P4, I know it's a bit further ahead, but at least Raceway, if there's any sort of error, they're not just going to lose 2 or 3 positions, because just behind those cars is that midfield train we were talking about, the one that's taken this race by storm and out of been a source of non-stop action all afternoon. There still can be some late shots here, I think. And these are the drivers that are capable of making them as well. Making the waves and breaking the news is what these guys seem to do. And they do it extremely well. Just behind Andre Passer now, Pro Driver starting to get a little bit more feisty, isn't he? I think he can feel that there may be a move brewing at some stage. It's just a case of when and where it will be, as Andre sliding his way through. The tyres may be getting a bit overheated right now, losing some grip as rubber will get pushed to the side of the circuit to create those marbles. The driver doing everything he can to just mimic what Andre does, get in his mind, stay with him, be that constant threat, the looming threat for the mustard coloured car. Eventually the egg might crack, or it may be hard boiled. We'll wait and see which one Andre could be. A bit further behind in the battles as well. We've still got Andy Bob and Alex Yusion. That one's still yet to be resolved. The two STEV teammates have been trailing each other for the majority of the second half of the race, without a shadow of a doubt. Swapping positions every now and again. It's great to see that kind of chemistry. They know each other's style of racing so well that they can race absolutely comfortably at 105, 110% and not need to worry about taking each other out, because they know that they both respect each other greatly. They're part of a team. They're trying to help the team. So all points are good points. You don't want to be that guy that runs into your teammate, whether it's a Nico Rosberg at Spa or a Sebastian Vettel back in Turkey a few years ago. It's not something you want to do. And we said earlier on about how Andrej Kasa may well be a hard-boiled egg, or he could be cracked open. And let's see what Pro Driver's going to do then, because he's got a brilliant run as he starts his 33rd lap off the circuit into turn number 1, and he's heavy on the brakes there. I think he was a bit quicker than anticipated, and that's where a lot of turn 1 incidents come from, because obviously when you're on your own you know what kind of thing you need to drop to, what kind of gear ratio, and Pro Driver may have just gone straight into a scrambled egg. There was a slight nudge to corner before Andre takes about an inch more time at wide, exactly we were talking, as the wheels lose a bit of traction and Pro Driver moves up into 6th place. So he's redeemed himself very well here, Pro Driver, bearing in mind, as we say, that earlier on in the race he had a big spin, fell behind both of these drivers, and now if you take a look at Andrej Kasa, he's not exactly going down without a fight, is he? He's got to be careful though, because there's a looming Mr. Jolly in the distance, just waiting for a move to backfire or not quite go to plan. He'll jump all over that and try and get himself well established inside the top 5. Over the line then go the two drivers, and Mr. Jolly is looking extremely good right now. He's going to try on a big side through turn 2 there. That's not what he wanted, I can tell you that for sure. He's throwing that car around. He's ragging the life out of the thing. It's just a case of, is it going to be enough or no? A huge swing inwards as well to try and keep those back wheels spinning in the right direction, as Andre is almost again trying to use Pro Driver as a Titanic lifeboat. Can he escape it before it's too late and hits the iceberg, or no? Pro Driver goes up way high, and Andrej Kasa may just get the lifeboat and rescued by a helicopter at this rate. Here we go then. Andre in a great slipstream as the clutch starts to come into effect now. The laps are ticking on by. We've got under 10 minutes of racing left to go. And these are the 10 minutes where it's all won and lost, isn't it? Right now you make the circumstance for yourself, and then you win it or lose it for yourself in the final few moments. And the pressure's on when you're envisioning scenarios in your mind about maybe lifting the trophy or passing a certain car. This is where drivers become heroes and heroes become legends. And Mr. Jolly's lit the pit button. I'm wondering, it is fairly late in the race, it may be in case that Mr. Jolly has actually run out of fuel or underfueled the car. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen it. That's a Cadwell Park. And a shock stop from our race leader handed it over in a completely new victory! And Andrej Kasa is definitely scrambled egg now, colliding again at the corner of champions. And now all these drivers trying to go past him. Look at this, Andrej Kasa behind Andy Bob. He's kind of been split by the STEV boys, so it's become an egg sandwich here. And look at this, side by side through the banking. That's a bit risky in these cars, isn't it? Andre doing just enough to keep ahead, but it's opened the door then for Alex Yusion to finally overtake Andy Bob. And I wonder what his teammate's going to make of that one. Round the outside of turn number 1. His teammate is going to say, no you're not, you know your role in this team, get back behind me. And the battle ensues. Andrej Kasa will be wiping the sweat away from his forehead before thumping his wheel, I'm sure, in disappointment. All of that hard work, and he's got a lot to rebuild in the final moments of this race. Our Duda 1-2 is doing an exceptional job now at the front of the order. He's not showing any signs of remorse or holding up just yet. B13 second, third randomness. Then Graf Findle, then it's Simraceway, then Pro Driver, then Mr. Jolly, Mr. P8, Andrej Kasa in 9th, 10th is Yusion. And here comes Luke Sky and Andy Bob. Now what is Andy Bob going to do? Can he maybe get to the inside of Luke Sky here? He's going to try everything he can. Can't see this one really working out. What can Andy Bob do? The answer's going to be surely very late on the brakes into turn number 1. And he's got side by side. They're pushing each other around the corner like some touring cars. Luke slides back underneath. Andy tries to replicate it. Can't quite pull it off. And Luke Sky snatches P11. Now is Popo going to take inspiration from that? And is Alex Jusian going to drop outside the top 10? Luke Sky's got a real shot here at moving his way up the order big time. As that train continues to pick up some steam, Andre Pass is going to pull away from it as soon as he can. If he can't, there's going to be a real sense of anxiety surrounding that car. Alex Jusian already trying to use it as a lifeboat. This guy trying to swim towards it. Both of them now rejoin the oval section. And they'll start their 38th lap next time by. Over the line they go. These cars doing such a fantastic job. A 56.8 there. Around the outside is going Andy Bob, but a bit late there for Popo's trying to find any means necessary through, isn't he, right now? He's not exactly holding back. These cars flowing through the first chicane like they're synchronised divers. Been great to watch this race so far. Easily one of the best that we've seen with the 6XJ4. It's rivaling a Cadwell Park finale. Doodle 12 has got the pit button lit. Now I'm praying this isn't going to be a late twist, because if Doodle's under fuel, it's going to be heartbreaking. We've seen it before here in Simraceway where drivers can maybe a litre too little, and in return it can ruin their entire race weekend. Is Doodle 12 one of those drivers? It doesn't really look like he's short shifting, so I should presume it's going to be just a case of he's accidentally pressed it. By the way, we'll receive confirmation very shortly. There'll be 3 laps remaining. This time by for the race leader. Now, does he dive in? The answer to that question is a resounding no. Doodle 12 still pushing on with everything he's got here. All of that might and potential. A 40 lap stint here. 2 more and Doodle 12 is going to get not only his maiden victory, but it will be a dominant one to say the least. Absolutely perfect drive so far. He's still going to bring it home. But things are looking very good for SDEV, and there may be a bottle of champagne or 2 being sprayed around the garage after tonight's event. Well, we take a look at the train that's evolved now with the SDEV sandwich that was. Two guys now stuck in the middle with Popo and Luke Sky 80. Luke Sky is now going to actually inside the top 10, so he has done a good job. We said before that he may well be inside the top 10 or fighting for it later on in the race, and indeed he is now. So tremendous run there by Luke Sky without a doubt at all. He's not exactly had it easy today. He's been battling hard throughout. He may not be the fastest driver on the circuit, but he's one of the more unrelenting. Great stuff to see. Luke Sky give it 120% out there today. Mr. PA still 8th with Jolly still chasing Pro Driver in 6th, and Jolly getting ever closer as we start the penultimate lap of the race. Jolly's going to be going to another place. He's going to be flicking the switch and hoping that he can find maybe something crazy, something real deep. He's going to have to dig down extremely deep to find a way through, but if anyone can do it, Mr. Jolly can. Pro Driver's already made 1 error today. Is he going to be susceptible to a second? Or can Mr. Jolly get that damage limitation even further? He qualified 3rd. Well, we knew it was right at the back of the order after a not too great start without over-dramifying it. Jolly there trying to sneak up the inside of Pro, and it's not quite worked. He's doing absolutely everything he can there. You can really feel the sense of urgency surrounding these two at the moment. He's trying to open up to sneak underneath. Watch this, look at that, he's so much earlier on the throttle, and it may just work. It was almost like he was on the throttle as he entered the corner, and it can't quite be closed off. Pro Driver going down low, and they bump draft their way in towards the final lap of the race. We've got to take a look at what our race leader's doing though as well, because he's about to finish his. He's coming onto the banking for the final time. The livery says, you can see that Go Bananas on one side, at the other end of the car is another story entirely. But what a drive this has been for Doodle 12, and I'll tell you what, the SDEV team will be going bananas because Doodle 12 wins He wins his first race in the 900 to 1100 Skillquant. Absolutely great run. Doodle 12 is a winner here in the Car of the Year Championship. What a drive. It's B13 in second. Third place, Miranda inside. Grafindel takes 4. My Raceway will take 5th. So 2 SDEV cars inside the top 5. Now keep an eye on that battle with Andre Parson. And watch Mr. Jolly as they go onto the start finish straight. And he can't quite get a pro driver. One more lap he would have done it. It's a pro 6th. Jolly 7th. PA 8th. Andre Parson's going to be 9th. 10th is going to be Jujan, I think. Yeah, Jujan takes P10. 11th there for Andy Bob. 12th Popo. 13th Luke Sky. And only one retirement in 42 laps of racing. And that there was Enricos. But what an event that was. 42 laps of racing. And Doodle 12 led every single one of them. It's not a bad way, is it? Doodle 127 gets his first ever Sim Raceway victory in this Skillquant by taking pole position and leading 42 laps. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a new kid on the block and he drives for SDEV. Doodle 127 is your championship leader in the race to the $1,000 prize pool in the Car of the Year Championship. The other 3 cars to be used here, of course, ending at the Jaguar D-Type with Laguna Seca. We've got the Honda NSX coming up for you as well. And don't forget, of course, that glorious Nissan GTR, our Car of the Year. But a massive thank you as well to all of the drivers that have taken part today and making this such a successful championships. Densely populated grids throughout the Skillquants from 500B to 900A. There's been nothing short of exceptional racing. Absolutely great stuff. So if you've signed up for this championship, a massive thank you, because you've made this a really exciting championship to keep an eye on, especially going into the next couple of rounds as well, and ending with a beautiful, beautiful combo of the Jaguar D-Type and Laguna Seca. So best of luck to all the drivers next weekend, and a massive congratulations to all of them for their efforts here today. If you haven't signed up yet and you want to get involved in part of the $1,000 prize pool championship, get yourself over to simraceway.com. The game absolutely free to download, and all the tracks are loaded free on there as well. So that brings us to a close here from the Phoenix International Raceway. Thank you so much here from all of our drivers, and thank you so much to a few special people as well. We just want to say thank you to our events administrator and basic race control, Corsacco. We say it every week, but the man is the heartbeat of Sim Raceway. A great, great individual indeed. And without him, this would not be possible. So without Corsacco, there would be no Car of the Year Championship. There would be no broadcast or anything like that. So he gives you guys your Sunday evening fuel. So give him a massive thank you. He doesn't get the appreciation he deserves. He honestly doesn't. So please give him a thank you. Show him your appreciation, because he really does make Sim Raceway what it is today. A thank you as well to Dimitri, who's once again flamboyant as ever with the cameras today. Absolutely lovely work here. We got always new features, whether it's new backing music, a new window, some new graphics, a new video being shown in between sessions. He just seems to throw some surprises in there. He's like one of those boyfriends that spoil everyone all the time, and you never know what he's going to do next. Absolutely great work, Dimitri, so please keep it up. And if you are on the YouTube channel currently watching this screen, it is Dimitri's personal YouTube channel. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and show him your appreciation for all of the work he does behind the scenes there as well. A massive thanks to everyone over at the PDC in Sonoma and Laguna Seca at the moment, whether that's the drivers in our Jim Russell series, we've got our accountants, obviously, the mechanics, the driving instructors, every single person associated with Sim Raceway can hold their heads high. It's going to be a great year, 2015, and I've got a feeling it may just be the best yet. So a big shout out to our CEO, Jonathan Haswell, as well, for making all of this in the first place possible. And from myself, Liam Jenkins, I will see you at round 2 of your Car of the Year Championship next weekend at about 5 PM GMT. You don't want to miss it. So from me, I'll see you next week.